the Bronx in New York City.
And tell me about your life growing up in New York before you joined the Marines.
I was not a happy kid in high school, a little bit of a dysfunctional family, but mostly just my nature. And I couldn't wait to get away. So instead of going into college, I thought I would join the Marines. The Korean War broke out when I was a senior in high school, and I just couldn't wait to get in. I had to wait another 6 months, but I finally did it.
And any members of your family served in the military prior to?
My sister's husband was a flyer, that is to say, he served in the Air Force, did 25 missions on a B-19 during World War II, got shot down twice. And he was a little bit of a source of inspiration for me, someone I really looked up to.
You're blocking the screen.
But I assume you were inspired not to join the Air Force.
No, I don't like heights.
And so tell me why the Marines drew you in as opposed to maybe the Army.
Well, the truth of the matter is, I would have never admitted it when I was a younger man, but the idea of being a tough guy with some of the panache and the reputation of the Marine Corps appealed to me. As I say, something I would have never admitted at that time. But that was really the thrust of it. And I did want to see combat. I wanted to see what it was like. I was only 17 years old, and that means I had more testosterone than Marines. So that the Marines called out to me, and that's who I enlisted.
And how did you convince your parents to sign for you?
Good question, because they did have to sign, and they were very much against it. I threatened my parents. I said if they didn't sign for me when I turned 18, in just about 6 months, I would need their permission, and I would go away and never speak to them again. My mother's last word as I was leaving the house was, "You're walking into a fire." So I convinced them by threatening them.
And when was it that you joined?
February 6, 1951.
And once you joined up, where did they send you?
Well, we went to Parris Island, which is a Marine Corps boot camp for people who grew up east of the Mississippi. And that was the toughest 11 weeks of my life. I didn't say the most dangerous, but the toughest. I thought I was stronger and smarter and quicker and wiser than I was. It was just a really humiliating and humbling experience. But it worked. They turned me into a Marine.
Any drill instructors stand out in your mind?
Yes, and I had two. One was a great guy, and the other one was a lowlife. Our chief instructor, Corporal Carpenter, was a very fair, tough, nice guy. The second one, Private Morris, was a drunk, a real obnoxious individual whom we all uniformly hated. But we got through it in spite of him.
And after your boot camp, where did they send you?
After my 10-day leave at home, I got sent out to Camp Pendleton, California, which was the biggest Marine Corps processing camp at that time, and hoped to go over pretty quickly. But my dreams were thwarted because after some rifle company training, they assigned me to the machine gun section of the weapons company, which was a horror to me. I have no mechanical ability at all, and when I saw that machine gun stripped down to little parts, I was convinced I'd never learn to do it. In fact, I was the second to the last in the company to learn how to put that thing together, although I was pretty good when I did it. And I remember the last, I remember his name was actually thrown out of the section and sent back to a rifle company. That's how bad I was. But I did learn, and I was proud to do that.
And tell me more about machine gun operation. It took crew to operate, yeah?
Machine gun section, we were what we call heavy 30s, Browning water-cooled 30s. As a crew of 7, a gunner, an assistant gunner, and 5 ammo carriers, which are essentially riflemen. And you start off at the bottom and you work your way up. The first ammo carrier carries a can of ammo, naturally, and some spare parts. The second one does water or antifreeze and spare parts. And the next 3 each carry a can of ammo in each hand. So obviously I started off when I got over at the 5th, and I worked my way up to assistant gunner by the time I went home.
And any memorable stories at Camp Pendleton?
There were memorable to me. We did some things that I think I was physically capable of doing. One was a 25-mile forced hike carrying a 51-pound 7 tripod on my back. The gunner and assistant gunner, and I was a gunner in training, was supposed to be given a lift on a truck of some sort, and it was a screw up, and we didn't, so we walked. To this day, I can't believe I did it. At the end of the walk, I could not feel any part of my body. I was so numb. But like a lot of those things, as time goes on, you remember the fun part of it, the achievement part of it, not so much the grumpiness. I'd say fully a fourth of all the men on that hike dropped out because of blisters or other problems, so we had a special pride in finishing it. Other than that, we had intensive training. Our bodies became like rocks. I remember one day I was just sitting on the edge of my tent deck and noticing that I couldn't push my leg in. It was so hard. Never been in a condition like that in my life. other than that, you form some very close relationships. Had a couple of really nasty physical fights because we're so edgy. We just can't get away. There was a rumor that Chesty Puller, the famous General Puller, was going to form a certain brigade and take us over to Korea. That turned out to be just a rumor. And I ended up spending nearly a year in Camp Pendleton volunteering every month for the replacement draft. I couldn't get over there until, I believe, April of 1952, in the 20th replacement draft. And by the time we got over, the war was still going full force, but there were no enemy aircraft left and no enemy tanks left. And so I had an interesting few weeks and actually interesting year.
Well, tell me